Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Call,
Here.
Mr. Key.
Here.
All right, we have our regular agenda in front of us, and we will move through it as printed. Is it safe to ask, is there any citizen comments? Oh,
We surprised.
come right up.
Yes, thank you. I have a small packet, I'd like to, you'll just pass it around, sir.
For the record, because it's citizens' comments, I'm assuming you were instructed to speak under citizens' comments?
Yes.
If it's okay then with the council, we'll probably forego the time limit.
Time.
3 minutes.
Yeah, be that long.
It won't take that long.
Oh, okay. Well,
I look at the package.
I actually put everything in writing that I want to say, and it's less than a page, and the reason I can get carried away out, so thank you. Appreciate it. My name is Denny Hughes. I'm a resident here of Mexico Beach. I'm here today to represent the Mexico Beach pickleball community. I'd like to tell you I was selected to talk of my knowledge of pickleball and my good looks. Pickleball people informed me it was because I had the biggest mouth. Anyway, we were requesting that the city council take into consideration our proposal to make the existing tennis courts into permanent, dedicated pickleball courts. The pickleball community in Mexico Beach has come up with two options. Option one, transforming the existing tennis court into 3 dedicated pickleball courts. Option two, transforming the existing tennis court into 4 dedicated pickleball courts. Both options would include leaving the temporary pickleball courts on the basketball courts. These courts could be used for overflow crowds. We say overflow crowds because in the wintertime, before Hurricane Michael, probably 50% of the participation were snowbirds, including myself. I've left you a package here with a list of things that would be needed to transform the existing tennis court into pickleball courts, no matter what option you choose. Please keep in mind, this is not our thoughts of the pickleball community. This is what's happening over the United States. From Canada to Key West, from California to Port St. Joe, is changing from tennis, using underutilized tennis courts and making them into pickleball courts. I thank you for considering this request, and if you have any questions, I or some of the people here will try to answer.
So, can I say something? With the scenario 1 is one thing and scenario 2 is another thing, right?
It's whether it's 3 courts or 4 courts is the big 2 options.
Okay.
We need the basketball court temporary just for visitors, people that come through during the wintertime, snowbirds.
Okay, so,
So you're talking about doing 3 courts or 4 courts?
and the 3 courts or 4 courts would be where the tennis court thing is now?
Where the tennis court is.
So you could actually put 4 of them there.
You can put 4 of them there.
Does that give you the correct spacing in between?
Not if we wanted to ever hold tournaments there.
Yeah, because, and then that also makes it, people could run into each other and hurt each other.
Yes.
So it'd be better if you had the 3 there, and then you could use the pickleball, tennis
For the
court
overflow.
for overflow.
We can do things as a pickleball group to manage more people on the permanent courts.
Yeah.
But when you get in, 10 years ago when I first came down here, or 8 years ago when we started pickleball, I'm guessing half of the people that played in the wintertime were snowbirds.
Yeah. So, the tennis court would also, where the basketball court is now, it's already fenced. So all you'd have to do is move the tennis net over there, if you wanted to use that as a tennis court, correct?
That would be an option there. I'm not gonna get into, I'm here for pickleball. And
Yeah, right.
I
Well,
don't
I'm
want to
just
say good or
saying,
bad on tennis.
well, I'm just saying if somebody wanted to play tennis, it's,
There could be an option.
yeah, okay. All right. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, thank you.
Suggestion from me is that we pass this packet to staff, let them research, see what's involved to do this, and give us best case scenario. I support, for the record, I support, and I would think, I mean, it's obvious the pickleballers outweigh anything in town. It's good to have them. I just hope we pursue another location with more courts. That's what I discussed earlier.
Yeah, staff would be glad to bring back some options for you guys, some calls, some ideas.
Yeah, see what's involved,
See what we're thinking.
see where we stand, what works out best, and I think that would be appropriate. And we thank you for, I'm voting for your good looks.
So, are you saying the truth?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, appreciate it. Any other citizens comment? Yes, sir. Come forward, please. Who are you?
Nobody knows. Brock Priest, citizen of Mexico Beach. Got a question for you guys. I met a nice gentleman the other day. I'm sure you talked to him. Forrest Phillips. What's the deal with him, I mean, with the ordinance not having an RV on his property when he built his house? Did he do something wrong? He said he talked to you guys and then Bud came by and
That's
said...
being handled in,
he's not here, he doesn't live here. I talked to him and I said I asked because I've been to all your meetings.
I think he's been notified multiple times from the city, so I don't know that.
No, just for my, what do you have to do if you're building and you're under construction? Doesn't that allow you to have an RV on your property? No.
No.
So what does the ordinance say exactly?
Well, I don't know. I know what it says, I know what the intent of the ordinance is.
Mhm.
So, it was to help people that recovered from the storm. To my knowledge, he's not recovering from the storm. To my knowledge, I have limited knowledge. But to my knowledge, he is not recovering.
So that's just for people who live here and have a house.
That's the intent of the ordinance, that's correct. And is recovering from the storm, even though I think we're going to soon look at doing something about that too. Meaning, come back, I saw in the administrator's report that we're looking at redefining the camper group.
Second question, what about, I appreciate it, I mean, it only took 3 years to get that mobile home taken care of, like, I mean, that's the best thing I've seen in the world. What about 2 houses down, the SS Minnow sitting there? It's already being decorated for Christmas.
Have what?
The SS Minnow.
I know
2 houses
I
down.
know what he's talking about. There's a boat just off its trailer. We've actually, code enforcement's working on it.
Okay.
Code enforcement's working on it. I just spotted it last week and we're working on it. I didn't know they had decorations on
To clarify something else for my information. I understand you can't have anything on your lot unless you have a house, correct? Have you owned a lot, can you pack it full of boats and trailers and everything else and not have a house? Don't even live here? Is that legal?
It's not a storage yard. Property. You can't have an accessory structure without a house.
Okay, but you can store stuff on your property. You can put trailers there and boats there and everything else without a house.
I don't know that code. I don't believe you can do that. I don't think you can just make it a storage yard, a vacant lot.
Okay. Will that be enforced then? I mean, you can drive around the city and it's everywhere.
Really.
Okay. Really.
Bring it,
I mean, you can go, I can throw
Now,
a
if
rock
somebody has
around.
a boat there, I think, I don't know, Rock, I'd have to, why don't you submit or give us some examples and we'll look into it, because I don't know.
I can throw a rock over the fence here to the other side, and you got a boat and RV sitting on a lot, probably $100,000 RV and a $200,000 boat sitting there for like 4, 5, 6 months, just sitting there.
I'd be
It's
glad to
just-
Why don't we look into that and make sure that we're not using property as storage yards?
I just want to
Without a
get,
house.
you guys doing a great job cleaning everything up, but it just still is discouraging. I walk my dog every day through the park between 5th and 7th Street, and you go through there, and you got a house that's condemned. The guy finally put a for sale sign on it. You got crap all through there, and you go to the end, you got that trailer with the bottom hanging out, you got a refrigerator tied to the side of a shed. You know what I'm talking about. You see it every time you drive down there on 5th Street in Maryland. I mean, it just
We're
looks
working at it.
terrible.
Believe it or not, we are working at it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I want to say,
We understand. We do not want our town to look like an RV park. We don't want to look like we want to have, we understand.
okay, thank you.
Would it be all right if I reached out to you to get some
Sure
specifics
can.
on you? Yes, sir.
Other citizens' comments? Okay. We're gonna move on then. Regular agenda item, number 1, discussion of city administrator or a new position. That was on the last, we tabled it and see, we're gonna put it on here again. So what do we got? That's under you, Doug.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. I have brought back the item for the adding of the position to the utility department. In essence, I'll briefly go through what the change would be. Currently, Julie is our utility billing specialist, and she also doubles as administrative assistant for the entire city. And we are asking to move her over primarily to work as the administrative assistant permanently. I'm looking to split her position out of a few different departments for budget impacts related to change to the water and sewer and sanitation fund, because she'll only be backup for that department. Moving forward, we would hire an entry-level utility clerk at a lower rate of pay than what she's currently making to kind of start at entry level, and then cover all the duties and additionally cover code enforcement. So that's why we're starting to split it with code enforcement now. So she would be a backup for Kathy, not out in the field, but as to processing of the paperwork. In an effort to get some of these flights cleaned up faster, it's hard with one person that has to go look at it, take pictures of it, come back, write a letter, go back and meet with the customer or the resident, and then back and forth and back and forth. It takes forever to get through one. If I had somebody in the office that was dedicated to send that information out, and I think that would expedite those items. I do have a solution for this problem that we would be able to. I know that you spoke last time about budget transfers and the ability to change just at this time of the year, sir. Currently, we would not be probably bringing on board this person until sometime in January. The total maximum possible cost for this position would be approximately $58,000. And please remember, if I don't hire anybody until January, it would be about 75% of that number, so in the neighborhood of 40 grand or less. And that does take into fact that this person, whoever this person is that we hire, needs full coverage insurance with their full family. If it's a single person, it would be less burdensome to the city. And I'm not recommending doing a budget amendment at this time for this position, because I don't know what it's going to cost us exactly. There's a chance that we would be able to do some budget transfers from the general fund department and decreasing their expenditures to offset the cost of this person. There's a chance that we'll be able to transfer current year's budget reserves to cover this as another option. Maybe that would happen after the person's on board. And then the city could do operating revenues to bring back those items to the budget, to the reserve budget. So we would put that money back in the reserve budget from revenues that are brought in from this throughout the year and cost savings. Not to forget that attrition does happen. For example, Derek retired last week. It'll take us some time to hire somebody in that position, and we'll be hiring somebody instead of $22 an hour in the neighborhood of $15 an hour. So there's cost savings in the sanitation and utility services department, which would be partially funded for this position. So it's my recommendation that we move forward with processing to hire this position in an effort to provide backup citywide for all the utility services, as well as increase the coverage for our growing city administratively.
At the last meeting, I researched more with the people around. People have been helping out with Julie moving around. And I really think we need it. I think it'd be good for the city. you're working well in trying to get everything going around. We do have some insurance to be going back to general fund, so it won't be attacking our budget per se now. So we could, when this budget comes around, work with it. So I'm personally for it.
Where we can have Debbie speak to this?
She can be available. I've met with her. I can speak to some questions that you might have if you need. If not, we can call her and have her on the phone. I don't believe she's on.
No, she should be.
She's on.
She's here.
I'm on, yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Debbie, thank you.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think that we need the person too, because I know Kathy's overloaded. Kathy's, you know, we all, it's easy to fuss about not getting done. Rock is, you know, saying we're not getting it done fast enough and so forth. And so I know that she's overloaded when she has to do all the paperwork and all the enforcement and all that stuff too. So, and looks like fixing to add more to her. So I think we need the position, personally.
I agree with you, Darrell. I believe there is a need for this position.
I just wanted to have, make sure that Debbie had looked at it and thought there was no issues with the budget and all that kind of stuff.
Her and I met at length yesterday, discussed the options, and we both feel it's viable.
Okay.
We would come back in the March amendment timeframe to make some budget amendments at that time, so we don't need to do that currently.
Well, I'm gonna repeat what I said last time. 3 years, we pinched every penny, every nickel, we squeezed every dollar. We've been in a heck of a lot worse shape for 3 years than we are today, and we've been true to our budget, what we can accumulate, what we can show on paper, which is right now still nothing. And I think you learn to live within your means. Yeah. Can you justify it? Oh, I'm sure you can. We can justify more people in the road department. We can justify a lot of things. But I'm not a spend 2.5 months going through a budget and in 45 days need a $50,000 employee. I'm not for that. I've tried to express if this is a show support for the position, call. It's not good budget management practices at all to come in here and expect to go through a budget that we don't even have in front of us. We don't know where we stand and think we need to make an amendment for $58,000. So I think it's a very poor decision all the way around. Okay?
I think what we do is what we have been doing, and since Doug's been here, proves that I know that we went through the budget, and I agree with you a lot about if you got to stick to your guns about what you got on the budget, but we didn't have Doug then, our city administrator, and now with him doing what he does, and you can see what he makes people, not make them do, but the people working in the office up there, what they do and it's changed. I believe if he would have been here for the budget, we would probably have the extra one. And with me in and out of the office like I am, I certainly think we do need a person that would relieve the pressure. And like Darrell said, that'll help Kathy, plus roll over into Tommy and them, administrative part of it. And I think they do such a good job. I think that sometimes they get overloaded. We all do, but I think a little help would be, and I think you'll come up with the right decision. It might be the middle of January or February before we get this person, but I still think we need
Okay? Anything else? Now, this will be an addition to, there is no approved position.
Correct, it does not exist.
It does not exist. So this will require council action to do that. Chair will entertain a motion. And I assume, I see that you have a job description, you have everything that'll be put in the personnel book that will justify that position, just like the others.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion we approve the new position approval of, city employee, is that
So it's an administrative clerk.
administrative clerk, okay.
Now, you mentioned, just for the motion and for the record, that you're not sure that require a budget amendment. I don't see how you can, David, there's no way that this can't require a budget amendment.
I was speaking to the, I'm sorry, Tony.
Right.
I was at
So
the amount of the
the
budget.
motion should read, it should be part of the motion that a budget amendment is required. I mean, it just needs to stay that at the end.
Make a motion. We approve a budget amendment for the new administrative clerk.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
No.
Mr. Pollak,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Call,
Yes.
Mr. Keith.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Next, number 2, is something I put on the agenda. I feel like there's some clarity that needs to be made about this ordinance prior to the second reading, which is coming up at our next scheduled meeting. So I want to take a few minutes and talk about some things that have me very concerned. First, just the simple reason that in our LDR we have, it's 30 years old, and there's a one-sentence code that defines right-of-ways, and it's just very simple. No permanent obstructions in the right-of-way. It's been that way for 30 years. It's clear, it's simple, it's plain. It makes, I mean, there's just, you can't state it any simpler. And yet, before us to change it, to try to find a way around that, we have a 4-page ordinance and a full-page memo from our attorney that's trying to tell us something. I'm not sure what, but it's trying to tell us that there's some issues with it. That's concerning to me. If you assign someone a task that says you're going to write a narrative on how you put a square peg in a round hole, they can approach it 2 ways. They can say, it can't be done, or they can wordsmith something and fill it up with words, and when you get through reading it, you might think, this will work, we can do this. The bottom line is there's no merit, there's no meat to this ordinance that protects the city in any way. None. Some of the things that I would like to suggest that we change, and I want to go through briefly and quickly. In the prologue of this ordinance, it states that there's confusion amongst the public about what may be placed in the right-of-way. Well, that's just simply an incorrect statement. There's no confusion. The only confusion is with the city. The public's not confused. It's what we allow them to do is what we created the confusion. The public isn't confused. I think that should be stricken from this ordinance. The second thing, on the next one in the prologue, it says it would be difficult for staff to evaluate these cases and couldn't decide which one we should remove. Well, we haven't tried that. How can you say it's difficult to do? We haven't even tried. It'd be like saying there's too many dogs on the beach, so we don't know which ones to take off. I don't know why we would say that it's difficult to evaluate when we haven't evaluated. We haven't even tried. We haven't assigned any risk factor to any obstructions in the right of way. We haven't even tried to do. I haven't said we haven't offered any evaluation of any kind. So I think that is an incorrect statement to be in the prologue of this ordinance. And lastly, it says that based on the foregoing, the city has chosen to allow certain obstructions to remain in place. Well, that's incorrect. We've allowed them all. Not certain ones, all of them. We haven't made a list, we haven't prioritized them, we haven't done anything. This ordinance allows any obstruction, period, to be in the right of way. So, that needs to be changed. That's not correct. And lastly, when you look at the full-page memo that I consider to be a tap dance around the issue, down at the bottom it says, our attorney writes that it's unusual compared to other cities to do something like this. And I thought about that. And I'm going to assume that, Nick, you probably, to use an old office phrase, you passed that around the office and maybe spoke to other people about how that may be done. I don't know if that's so or not, but I'm assuming that.
That's fair, and I just
That's
have
fair
a
that you
policy
did it.
like this.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, I did the same thing. I passed this around some of my peers and some of my contacts that are in organizations. And the number one answer I got back was, why would you do it? That's the number one thing that I was asked. The second thing that I was told, our legal staff wouldn't allow us to do that. That was the second thing I was told. So I want to say that in this, of all the things you've written here to advise this city, I would have expected you to be on that table with both feet saying, folks, this is a terrible idea. This is simply a terrible idea. But that's not what happened. You wrote this thing, and I'll be the first one. I'm not a legal, I have no legal background, none. But I do have some common sense background, and I've got what's best for this city background. And this ordinance doesn't represent either one of those. And I'm very concerned. So my question, Nick, to you, in all that you wrote, you failed to say, what is your recommendation? You told us what we should consider, but I'd like to know, do you recommend that this ordinance be adopted by the city?
No, I don't. But my role is only to provide advice, and as you've experienced in the past, there are on occasions the council has the authority to make these types of decisions, and on occasion they'll make decisions that don't go with my advice. But no, I don't recommend adopting.
Okay. So now that that's on the table, I would like for that to be part of the prologue of the ordinance. I'd like for this ordinance to read that the legal counsel for the city of Mexico Beach does not recommend this ordinance be adopted. I think that should be in the ordinance. I don't want it hidden in the minutes of a meeting. I also want my name and my title to be in the prologue of this ordinance, that I disagree with the adoption of this ordinance. And I'm going to tell you why I'm doing that and why I think that's important. If you ride around in any traveled roads in any city or any town, or you watch television, the number one ad you see on TV is personal injury protection attorneys. That's what they do. That's how they make a living. This ordinance makes this city a target. Period. End of discussion. Simple as can be. It is. I've been here 16 years, but I can tell you, I followed the legal and the political arena of this city for 50 years. There is no code officer that would have allowed this. There's no city administrator that would allow these types of obstructions that we're going to allow. There is no city council that would have ever presented anything like this, and there's no city attorney that would have ever wrote it. Never. So I want to distance myself. This puts this city at risk, and it was stated earlier, I forget in what meeting, but we've never had any problems. We've never allowed this, folks. We have never allowed the types of obstructions that are being put on our right-of-ways that give zero tolerance for anyone to exit the road. Never. So those are my suggestions and recommendations that this ordinance needs to be very clear about our legal attorney's opinion. I want it clear about my opinion. And if assuming that it's going to move forward and has the support, it's the most egregious thing I've ever seen the city do. And that's all I have to say. Can you make those adjustments, please?
I can make those adjustments.
Thank you.
Okay, I got to add some stuff here. In the 30 years this has been on here, we have allowed people to do it. There are structures that have been here for 30 years. We've had people on this council advise their clients to put the obstructions there. So to say we have not allowed it to be done, we have allowed it to be done. The only reason this is on here because we have allowed it to be done over all these years. And not just since Michael, well before. And that's the only reason I started this. I looked at it and I brought it up. I understand what your feelings is out. I'm not saying it's wrong or right or whatever, but we have allowed it to happen.
We haven't allowed it.
We have. As a city, if it was done and it was not stopped, we as a city had allowed it to happen for whatever the reason.
Anyway, that's fine.
Are you finished?
I'm sorry. No, I'm through.
I'm
Yeah.
talking to Bobby. Were you
Yeah.
finished? Where was it allowed, Bobby? And who on the council told people to do that?
Nobody personally came up that stand and said do it. They did it. We allowed it to stay there. So we have allowed it to happen.
Claire?
What?
Okay.
You asked me. If you go any street almost, there's one over there by me that's been there for well over 20 years. Nobody's ever stopped him before. So therefore, we have allowed it to happen.
Finished?
Yeah.
Allowing and knowing that it's happening is two different things, Bobby. You know, if you use the thought process that you're using, that means that Manish back there has been allowing people to speed because he didn't know they were speeding. And so there's a huge difference in that. Here's the thing. We have been really, really, really busy, and we still have a long way to go in getting this city cleaned up. We're constantly thinking of the issues that we have to do to correct things that are wrong, that shouldn't be there, trailers, boats, whatever, making people clean up, and it's been a big job. And I can tell you, there's nobody, maybe Jerry, that rides around the city and looks at stuff more than I do. And I'll just be honest with you, it never came to my attention. I never thought about it until somebody called me and says, can they do that? And I went and looked, and I said, no, they can't. Then I called the inspection department. I said, what are the right-of-way requirements? And what can you do there? No, you can't put anything there. And it's 50 feet, typically 25 feet from the center line. And so you are saying, and I take offense to the fact that you say we allowed it. You can't even. That's not good language. We did not allow anything. And the other thing that you've said that we have not done and we cannot do, we grandfathered in. I mean, grandfather. So we're going to take a person who violates the law, unbeknownst to us, and then say, oh, since they got it in there, then even though it's a violation, we're going to grandfather them in. So a grandfather is meant for, you're going to change an ordinance, and someone has something that has to do with the way they were allowed to do it under that ordinance, and you're going to grandfather them and not make them change theirs because now you're changing and making the ordinance new. That's what grandfathering is. We never grandfathered anybody. We never allowed anybody to do this. They got by with it without us knowing about it. The only person that ever got allowed to do this got permission from the city manager and had the fire department and the police department, and that was the one on C Street where they're going around the curve there. And they determined that it was a hazard, a risk, and they allowed them to do that. So as far as I'm concerned, that's not even a part of this discussion because it was allowed. But you can't take, in my opinion, you cannot take violators of the law and all of a sudden, just because it makes the city pretty, allow them to let it stay. How do you do that?
You heard?
Yeah.
Okay. We got an email a while back. One of your clients that you told to put the post and the rope in front of that driveway so trucks would not turn around and mess up the pavers. To me, that's allowed. So don't go.
Okay, well, wait a minute.
Now, did you not say that?
But see,
Did you not say that?
give me a second, Bobby. You don't all up at me, dude. You know. Look here.
I just
Look
read so much
here.
of it.
There's a difference in me telling someone on a piece of property, here's the piece of property right here, and here's the road. If they want to block their driveway, they put a post at their property, on their property, and they block it from there. But the part that's not on their property, they can't block that. Now, you can't block a person's driveway with your car. At least no sensible person would. And if the police are called, they'd make you move. But I have never told anybody to put anything on the right of way. Period. I've always told them. The only time that I ever put it on the right of way is when I do a job and that concrete has to set up for a few days. We rope it off so that no one can get on it until it sets up. But then those are removed and it's put back, if they want it, it's put back on their property. Plain and simple. And if anyone has said that I have said that or allowed that or told them to do that, it's not true. And I know who you're talking about. They called me and they said, we spent a lot of money for these pavers and we don't want anybody riding them. I said, well, you know, you paid for them and they're in front of your yard, but they're actually on city property, so you can't stop that. So what?
I'm not going to argue anymore about it.
Thank you. Okay. No, I do have something else to add on a different issue. On this issue, but about the insurance. I don't think anybody in this room and anybody in the city doesn't know someone who has battled with an insurance company to make them pay a claim through this storm. Now, I know that there are insurance companies that have run their business correctly and have honored their policies and paid their people as they should have, but the vast majority of people had to argue, and a lot of them had to get independent adjusters. So when our insurance company guy comes out here and he looks at it, and he sits on the fence and he says, well, I'm not going to tell you I would cover it or I'm not going to cover it. And so if you think that someone's going to run into one of these things and get hurt and they're not going to sue us and the insurance company's going to try not to pay it, then you are quite naive. And so for our insurance company, and I'm really, really unhappy with our insurance company for coming out here and not saying and giving us a specific, we showed them a specific issue, we thought it was a liability, and for them to say, I don't know, is totally, totally uncalled for and unprofessional. Because I can tell you what they'll do. If it's a big lawsuit, they'll say, well, we're not covering that. You let them put it in the right of way. That's just my opinion. It's my experience, my life experience, and that's what I have to say.
Anybody else?
I have an additional point.
Just a moment. Anything
I
else?
got something, Nick, I know, you wrote this with the, guidance of staff, I think that's the word y'all use. Is that what y'all use to say? And I agree with what you say, I do. I could pick through here and pick out something that probably I didn't like or want, but I think overall you did a good job. I do. And this is one of them ordinances that I'd be glad when it's over with. That's all I want to say, thanks. But that you did what you, and you did good.
Even though it doesn't recommend.
Well, I don't recommend a lot of things either.
And then, look, let me, I want to make one last step for me. Our city attorney represents the city. He's not my attorney or your attorney. He is supposed to give us professional, legal guidance on what's best for this city. I don't know any more you can say. That we're considering passing something that is not recommended is. Anybody else? Yes, sir. You have a comment?
Yes.
Come to the podium, please.
Craig Jerkins, new resident. I'd like to make the point that if any city allows encumbrances on its right-of-way, then you not only have a problem with the transference of the property, but you also confuse the marketplace. And what I mean by that is, if I go buy a property or somebody buys a property, spends $1 million on it, and then finds out that a portion of that property is not owned by them, it's actually on the city's property, must be demolished, then I have a legal position to come after the city at that point, come after the real estate, possibly title. But the whole point is you're creating a litigious environment that's unnecessary. And that's why cities all around the United States do not allow this. They usually pave them or make sidewalks out of them so that they have 100% right to have access to their utilities at all times.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on. Financial report. Oh, excuse me, project report.
Last page.
I'm sorry, David, hang loose. Project list update, I don't have that. Do y'all have? Oh, my, thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll go through them pretty quickly. Not a whole lot has changed since the last meeting. On the 15th Street culvert, we're waiting on guardrails to be installed and asphalt to go down, and that project will be completed by North Florida. 15th Street bridge repairs has been out to bid. It's still out to bid currently. The 800 megahertz radio tower that's being built on the 25 acres behind City Hall is moving along great. They're actually working today, and they're planning on an erection of the tower scheduled for 12/2. Once that's up and done and signed over, we'll be able to remove the temporary one that's here on the Public Works compound, and that's a great benefit for us. Additional boat ramp parking is on hold because we're working on a plan and some funding. Additional boat ramp expansion is also pending funding. We're working on some grant work for that. Canal dredging, spoil sites and dredge plans are under review by the contractor. They're supposed to, I talked to Mr. Fry, they're off this week for holiday. They're starting to work on their mobilization next week, so that project will be going forward very quickly. We were able to pass along the new, there was a couple that trickled in at the end. We were able to get those done, but it is officially cut off now. We got everybody in that had came in like on the day of, it was past the due date. So just, you had asked that question last time. We were able to get those on the chart. Citywide storm repairs, the bid came in. It was a very high bid, approximately $5 million. But what that did do for us related to FEMA, and Ryan is working with that as FEMA, is it allowed us a real cost of what some of these changes would make. So we have submitted that back to FEMA for funding, and we're waiting to hear back from them. So it did do good things by getting the bid because it applied a real cost at current time. Going forward, it was a far too low scope of work that they provided 3 years ago, and the pricing, they just weren't sure how severe it was because they scoped all the existing stormwater. So that project's moving forward. Hopefully we get some additional funding from them, and we can start work on that immediately. The citywide paving project, as you're aware, we had an issue last week with the paving company that hit a light pole and caused a power outage and water outage I apologize to the residents for the city, but we got it up and running, and kudos to our Public Works and Utilities Department for getting that going as quickly as possible. We are also, I'm compiling a cost of that outage for both water and sewer related to Piggott, and to add to their possible claim that they're going to have for their insurance. So there's no reason the city should pay for that for something they didn't do. So I'm working on that to get recoup some of those costs. DOT right-of-way project, Tom will probably talk more about that in a little bit when he comes up, but that is moving forward and they're ready to mobilize for that. Highway 98 landscaping, irrigation was removed, and we're watching the growth or lack of growth on some of the trees and items. They still have a 2-year contract to maintain those for us, so we're working closely with the vendor. The jetty is under review. It's looking good. Everything I hear on the calls is they're moving forward for that project. Our manhole covers for waterproofing is out to bid currently, so that's underway. And we're also requesting that they have included installation of those seals that they add to our existing manhole covers, so the staff doesn't have to do that. The marine and boat ramp pavilions and fish cleaning stations, they've gone vertical. Both buildings at the boat ramp are going vertical now. They've provided a scope of work that they're going to do every 2 weeks. North Florida's pushing pretty hard to continue moving those forward. They've got the pilings started down at the pavilion. They're working. They've got a little bit of issues trying to hit those in the right spots, but they're working together on those. Palms Park, under the Palms Park, we're working on design related to that. Dewberry, you guys approved the task order last time, so they're working on that and trying to set that up in phases for us. Parker Park, if you've not noticed, our public works staff is doing this 100% in-house, which is a cost savings to the city because we did not receive very much funding from FEMA for Parker Park. Wasn't a whole lot there. For example, the fence and some sidewalks and the bathroom. But we have completely staffed. Kudos to Tommy's staff. They demolished that building on our own. That saved us about $10,000 by taking that down in-house. So staff is doing a lot of things on their own that maybe haven't been asked of them before, so I'm greatly appreciative of what they're able to do, and we're small but fierce as a staff. So Parker Park is being cleaned up. They're actually out there with a boom mower working on cleaning up all the ditches. We're going to revitalize the project to put back in to the effect of hopefully to fill in some of that waterway to give us a little more space in that park. So I'm working on that project to kind of revitalize that option. So that's out there too. The pier design is under review. They're working on the possibility of the restrooms at the pier and where exactly they would go on the pier, the possibility of a future marina spot, bait shop, that's the wrong thing, bait shop, to be included. We didn't have that before, so that's going to be something we'll have to work on. The police and fire municipal complex building, it's under FEMA determination. Actually, Ryan did a great thing last week by sending a strongly worded email that came across really well to some of the Florida Department of Emergency Management folks, and they actually responded very quickly to revitalize this program. Buck Dickinson, who's a friend of mine I've worked with for many years in Department of Emergency Management, you guys probably know him, I'm sure. He called me back yesterday, and we had a great talk about the fact of where the project stands and how we had to run to the gun to get something turned in 2 weeks, and now it's been 3 months, and we've got nothing back from them, not even a timeline or a hello, or they canceled meeting after meeting for us. And he alluded to now it is on his. He has brought it to his desk, and he is working with some of the other organizations to continue to move this forward. So it's on his radar, and he appreciated us kind of reaching out and getting the ball rolling again. They've had some staff changing within that department, higher up staff, so they're getting it moving again. So hopefully we don't lose any time on that. The street lights, they're under review by Duke Energy. I'll let Tommy speak to that a little bit further when they come up. They're ready to start on that project. Sunset Park, the permit, by the grace of God, is finally issued. So Bonnevic is working on a mobilization plan coming up for next week to start getting things moving forward for us, and working on how they're going to get to that spot. And the sand issue is fixed. David did a great job by driving over to Tallahassee to personally drop the samples off, and it was a touch and go, but it's good. So we're ready to start that project as well. Under the underwater debris removal, it's kind of on hold for funding. There's some NIFA funding and stuff. After the first of the year, we'll apply for some more grants to work on that. And then one that I'm adding to this list is called the 8th Street bathrooms. This is next to where Toucans was. We're going to have a task order we're going to bring to the council on December 14th from Dewberry to start building those bathrooms back shortly. We had a little bit of concern related to who owned that property, and the city 100% owns it. Nick may add something later, but the proximity to where it was, and the lease from prior to the lease that they currently have, talked about the bathrooms. The current lease that they're under now for the next 16 years,
The old lease talk about that.
the old lease talked about having the bathrooms. The new lease did not mention the bathrooms, which was pre-storm, like days before the storm was signed. And so we're good on that one. And Ryan feels comfortable that the money's obligated to be funded and reimbursed. So we're bringing that back to you guys for your attention. And that's all I have on the project list. If there's any other ones you'd like to see added to that, please let me know and I can add. Jerry told me to be quick, so.
Recommended. All right, moving on. Thank you. Debbie, are you on?
I am, I'm here.
Okay. You're up.
Okay.
You're up.
So I have just a couple of updates. I'm still working in 3 years, so I'm working in fiscal year 2020, 21, and 2022. Auditors are still making progress with the 2021 audit. So we should be still on deck to complete that by the end of January. I'm still working on closing out the fiscal year 2021, doing deduction entries, working with staff on updating, finalizing the electronic requisition process that Doug had, kind of like a modernization of processing for AP and POs. And then my last report that I got cut off on the phone was to update you that I'm going to kind of change up the report. I'm going to do it in tandem, so I'm going to try to work in 2 years and then just present you the most recent information on the financials. So I'm going to have to go back in time and kind of recreate 2 different reports. So I'm going to try to do bank reconciliation in the current year and adjusting into the auditor. So it'll give you a really close, an unaudited total, but it'll give you a kind of a better idea of your year-to-date expenses and revenues and cash balance. So that'll be the next council meeting. I'll have something for you for that.
Awesome. Questions for Debbie? Anything else? You good? Debbie?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Well, thank you. Same to you. Hello to Chris. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Sandy?
Morning, everybody. Just very quick. Basically, we put up a new AED at the back door of the City Hall. It's easily got to from front door, back door, and it just makes sense if I'm walking past on a regular basis, I can cast an eye out to make sure everything is good. If I put it at the front door, it might get left there, forgotten about over a period of time. We are going to be doing in-house CPR training for both fire department and members of the city staff that would like to have it, so that we will have that in place throughout the city. We're not going to put one over here because we have basically one on each of the trucks there. There's no one parked outside the door just here, so they're close by here. So if we need one, we don't need to physically put one up in here. Something we've talked about for a while. It will be done and finished with before Christmas. All the training will be in place and so on and so forth. Other than that, it's basically continuing with maintenance and so on and so forth at this time of the year, and hoping we don't have to go into water because it's getting cold. I look forward to seeing all of you, although I see our pickleballers have left us, at the Turkey Trot on Thursday morning. Please enjoy Thanksgiving. I hope I don't see you in any other reference over Thanksgiving other than the Turkey Trot. Have a good Thanksgiving, and if there are any questions, please feel free.
Thank you
very much.
much.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Lisa, you got anything for us today?
Lieutenant said everything's on track for the turkey trot, golf cart parade, and the movie night. We're still on track. He doesn't have any stats to get to you today, and unfortunately, Lieutenant's going to be here today, but he wishes all y'all happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Please relay out the same. Building, I don't see. Do we have any, Doug, anything
No, we welcome the new
James
this week to start the process forward, and we're just keeping things moving. There's no P&Z meeting scheduled for December because there's nothing on it.
One thing, if you would mention either to James or at the for the, at least maybe in January, I'd like to see a year-end report that breaks down what we've done with the city in terms of building for the year.
Calendar year?
Calendar year, yes, not.
You want year over year or something like that? Would you like to?
Just 2021, here's what's happened.
Got it.
How many new residential buildings, townhomes, commercial, whatever, just to see
Understood.
give us a picture of what's happening.
I'll have that available.
Code, I see again, we don't have,
No, she has a doctor's appointment today, but I did want to pass along a few items that she has continued to move forward with. She's getting several buildings that have been kind of pilings laying around, getting those demolished. One of them is close as 20th Street. It was pink colored. It's gone. We're working to help clean up Pastor Dave's area where he was living. The city staff went and picked up, get a lot of that stuff picked up today or this week. She is actively staying on top of some of these people. We've got some, she's working well. We had a meeting yesterday with Jennifer from Nick's attorney's office and kind of getting our paperwork in file. Julie and I and Kathy met with her for about an hour yesterday, and she is really on top of her game. She has done it as for the county and several other city municipalities that she works with, and I think it's going to be a lot more streamlined. We're also working with Debbie. She at Springbrook was with our processing system that we use, and it has a component for code enforcement. We're working on including that, so that way it makes it a little more automated for us. And she's actively taking care of things out there in the field.
okay, for me, one question I continually get asked from 61 First Street. Have a metal Connex that still remains in the guy's yard. They've got industrial equipment stored, boats stored. I can't even venture what all's back there.
In the backyard?
In the backyard. Just because it's fenced in doesn't make it, we don't have a fenced in storage yard.
Understood. We gave him a 2-week extension because he lost a piece of equipment that he was using to move some of those items around. And we're working with him on that. It was a bulldozer, and he had actively continued what he did with his front yard. He's actively moving forward, and we are working with him. And
but we do know that it's understood, and I bring this up
There's a
because
pool back there.
this is
There's all
5
kinds of
years
stuff.
in counting.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So I'm sort of with Rock.
I understand.
Okay?
It's on.
Those people ask me repeatedly.
It's on my radar, sir.
That metal Connex that's there is not allowed. That industrial equipment that is stacked, just because it's in that fence, is can't have a storage yard in a residential low-density neighborhood.
I'm under the understanding he's working on removing all of that, sir. And
Okay?
fixing his fence. He's got his fence open.
I know you're new here, but prior to you, the other administrators, that we've all said the same, that's the same answer we've been getting.
He did a good faith thing by the front yard, and I gave him a little bit of an extension. He's on a short time frame.
Okay.
I
I
understand.
want to repeat myself, we've been dealing with this for 5 years, so your extension is well noted. Okay.
While we talk about that, Diana Maryland has got the same situation. It's supposed to be a residential neighborhood, and it's nothing but business.
I know who the owner is across the street from. I know where there is.
How you doing? Come on.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Public Works got a lot going on right now. Doug mentioned that we are down at Parker Park. We took down an old bathroom, trying to get that cleaned up so that if we want to have any events down there, we can do that. Marketplace, anything. I think everybody here is ready to let's move on and get back to our old routine. Also, you notice Christmas decorations going up. We will be putting a Christmas tree up down at, I call the city park at Mexico Beach, right from the hardware store. We'll do that shortly after Thanksgiving, and we come back, get that done for Kimberly so we can get the Christmas celebration stuff going. Also, a little update with FDOT. They were supposed to have been here last week to do the road shoulders. They had an emergency. The crew had to be called off for something else, but I was assured this morning, I was on the phone with Martin Burke, that they will be here this week, bringing barricades and stuff up, the cones, and next week they will get on that and get all that done for us. He said once they get started, it won't take them long. They got a crew come in and take care of that. Duke Energy, have been working with them, Rock, about street lights. They are in the stage now getting those lights ordered. They're going to start over at Colorado and move out from that because you requested that many months ago about some lights. So I promise you that's coming. We're working with Duke on that to get that done now. Just some other things, sanitation. We had an employee retired this past Friday, Ernie Derek Rogers, been with us for 18 years. Hate to see Derek go, but I want to congratulate him. He's been a good employee. Some of the council got to come by and see him, and we wish him the best. We're in the process now trying to hire a replacement with a CDL license. If anybody out there is listening, they have a CDL license, please put an application in. We put you to work. Wanted to make an update on the trash pickup for this week since it's holiday week. We're picking up Monday, Tuesday, regular route. We will pick up Thursday's route tomorrow on Wednesday. They'll be off for Thanksgiving for Thursday, and they'll be back Friday and pick up Friday's route. So we're not going to skip a day, have a 5-day interval. We'll be picking up trash to get that. I also wanted to say thank you to all my guys. Yesterday, they went around and assisted the utility department. We had a water leak back here in Nanook. Been leaking now for a couple of years, and Tim Cutler with the road department went back and took the backhoe and one dig and found it. So we were able to get that, help them yesterday, utility department, get that fixed. So everything's going good. Anybody got any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you very much.
I got one, I don't know if it's for you or maybe Doug. That water break we had last week, it's like the next day I get a thing from Bay, because I'm on an emergency network, about the boil water order. Is that something, I mean, who did that, or why wouldn't that have been like right away? It was almost a day later that came.
So the city of Mexico Beach has not fully been utilizing the alert bay, or maybe somebody that worked here before did it and left and stopped doing it. I don't know. So we signed back up. Julie was the one that brought it to our attention. We have it on our website, sir.
Okay.
And I reached out to Frankie Lum from the Emergency Management Department, and he posted it as soon as he possibly could. We put it on our website and we put it on the Facebook, but we need to start utilizing alert bay. We will from this point forward. We have 2 users, myself and Julie, that can get those out. So we also did one when it was rescinded as well to go out through there. So we're really hoping people sign up for that. Since we're on TV, we'll tell them that they can go to the city's website and sign up for that alert bay, or they can go to the Bay County website. It's a lot of information that comes out. Sometimes it gets cumbersome, but it does let us know when simple things like this go out, goes through your phone right away. So I highly encourage it.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Thank you, Tom. I see Newberry have anything, or do you have anything for them?
I do have something from Ryan, as well as Public Utilities. When I started here, they had rental pumps in probably 4 different lift stations. It was costing us about $10,000 a month. They have since stopped every one of those. Staff continues to utilize their own knowledge and expertise to stop these silly payments that we were making. So we're continuing to cut costs and on a daily basis, as well as holding people accountable. Kudos to Garrett for what he did, working with underneath in Casuna. There was a pipe broke on a board job underneath there. It was about $18,000 worth of damage that was done that the city, whoever the city was in charge at that time, paid for. I had Garrett stay after them, and they issued us a check for over $17,000 to come back to repay that cost. There's no reason for the city to cover things that contractors are breaking within this city. So we are now holding them accountable. If it hadn't been done before, it got laxed, however it was, we are holding them accountable. That's how we don't need to pay for those kind of issues that are caused by outside vendors. So just so you know, staff is hard working at that. The water leak was actually like just burning cash on fire over on Nanook. Tommy was joking a little bit about it, but Tim really did find it. Just had the right staff out there. I mean, all the department heads were out there, and it looked like a government job because it was. And we used all of our minds and one guy with a shovel, and they stopped a leak that had, imagine your water hose on 60 PSI for a year. That's what was happening. It undermined the street. The pavement had busted. There was a sinkhole on the other side of the road, and all of a sudden, we got all the right people there, and they fixed it yesterday. So we turned off the water hose that had been running for a year. So just kudos to those guys, and they stayed late. They got it done before it was dark, and that's the kind of staff that we have, and you know that. All right, that's all for utilities. Sorry, Ryan from Atkins. Dewberry wasn't able to attend as well, but they're working on our bid request. Atkins has submitted reimbursement for our citywide roads for $500,000. As that project continues, we get reimbursed for it as we pay for it. We're waiting on those checks to come back. The water treatment plant, $550,000 should be coming in the next 2-3 weeks for the work that we did on the water plant. So that's coming. We submitted project for amendment to the rest of the stormwater project. I spoke about that earlier. They're working on phase 2 of the dredge conduit coordination. I mentioned that there was some crosshatch sections that had to be identified for depths. I'm not an engineer, but they're all doing that on their own. Municipal complex, I'll give you an update on that. And one thing that I didn't talk about, there's an HMGP grant that we applied for and we received this past week. It's for a surge gate underneath 98. It's an $8 million project, 100% funded, and that will allow surge, a huge gate to go underneath 98 to close an emergency of a storm so that you don't get storm surge that goes underneath the 98 there at the canal. So that's huge. Now, they'll give us $8 million for that, but they won't help us build a fire station yet. So that's kind of up in the air for me for how that works. But that's good news. $8 million, that's going to be a big asset for the city to have when the next time, hopefully it never happens, but we have it. That's all I have for now.
Surge gate.
Yeah, $8 million.
So what happens when the water doesn't go under the bridge? What happens to the property on the south side? Where's all that water go?
I guess it pushes through the storm water if it goes the other way and out. I have to ask Brian a little bit more information on that. But it allows it from coming in at a high level capacity and undermining the road.
I know, I'm sure we got more to do, but I'm just thinking of what happens to the water.
I'll look into it.
Obviously it raises.
Yeah. I don't know where it pushes out, but I'll find out.
I mean, I know we're not installing it tomorrow.
No, that's a good question.
I do want to know that. Okay.
I understand.
Nick, you have anything?
Just everyone enjoy your holiday, and Jennifer Schuler was able to go to the Thanksgiving meal yesterday and had a lot of fun, and so thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. You have an independent report from what you've done?
I do, I'm sorry.
You do?
I'll be quick, I promise you, I promise. Just a public notice options, all I want to talk about. So the city hall will be closed for business on Thursday and Friday. We'll post that on our website in observance of the holiday. We'll post Thursday and Friday. Tommy talked about the trash service and how that'll go. We'll reopen for business on Monday the 29th. The turkey trot is on Thursday the 25th at 8 a.m. That's at Under the Palms Park. Registrations are still available. The flyer is on the city's website. That'll be a nice event there, and hopefully soon we can dress up Under the Palms Park. The bathrooms are in progress. The golf cart parade will also start at Under the Palms Park on December the 5th, and it will be at 7th Street side, so there by where the bathrooms were. And I've got a map available on the website for people to get so that they know where to go and they don't get lost or off track. But the Sheriff's Department's passing that out, as well as Tracy Gaddis. And thank you guys very much for allowing us to have things there. Christmas tree lighting, we talked about that, December 5th at 6 p.m. You don't have to participate in the golf cart parade to be a part of the tree lighting ceremony. That will happen on December 5th at 6 p.m. Bangle Marley's is taking care of hot chocolate and stuff. It should be a very nice event. I look forward to seeing it for my first time. The Sheriff's Department spoke about the movie night. Things like this are coming up, and we're going to continue these going throughout the year. It's not just because it's the holidays, but I really want to bring entertainment and stuff back available to our residents. It's something that they've not had in a while. So the sheriff offered to do this. They're going to show the movie Elf over there, and you can get parking in Jerry's parking yard and lot. I think it's $20 to park over there.
That's right.
Open bar.
That's right.
So I do think it's going to be a great night down there at Under the Palms Park. That's all I have except for Bay Biz. I did want to thank the Chamber. They dropped off a number of copies for this. To feature Mexico Beach in the Bay Biz Journal in a full-page article on the inside is excellent exposure for us. I put a copy in each one of your mailboxes. There's additional copies at City Hall. If anybody would like to pick one up, they're there. They're free. It's just nice to get exposure about good things that are happening in Mexico Beach. That's all I have, sir.
Okay. You Gary, do you have anything?
I'm good.
Daryl?
I'm good.
Just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and a happy stay at Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people are gonna be traveling, I got a lot of family coming in, so. And thanks to the city, employees for everything they do for us. They really help make Mexico Beach, so thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved.